Hello, everybody. What's up? I hope y'all can hear me. I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Good to see everybody. I just restarted my computer, which hopefully made everything faster and better. And I hope that you guys, my microphone's okay. Let me know. One in chat if you're rolling in before I get started. All right. What's up, Teresa? Good to see you, my friend. Janet, how you doing? Jay, the Italian cookie. Uh, Tiff, thanks for being here. Cheeto, Marie, Melissa, how you doing, girl? Anne, Sadie's mama, good to see you. One board mom, morning to you from the past. You're in the future. How's everybody doing today? Come on in, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. I've got the goal up today, my friends. And yeah, we got a big show. This is not just like, hey, Melodee Buzzard's mom was released. She's still missing and maybe trafficked. There's a lot more, lots of discussions going on with many experts, which is what I quite thoroughly enjoy. Moments from court, listening to the judge. And guys, I got to tell you, two things the experts are saying: either Melodee Buzzard was sold or she's no longer alive. However, listen, Jay the Italian cookie, I'm going to tell you how she was released and why she was released and the circumstances of why she was released. Everybody's like, why the heck would they let her out? There's several reasons. The judge and the prosecutor, although they wanted to hold her, I got to tell you, those charges were a bit of a almost just a way, like a ploy to get her arrested and hope that she would talk. Now, you guys know that her mom's a little cuckoo there. And I'm hearing things from the other side of the coin, which is wild. There are some other creators yelling at the screen right now saying, how could somebody arrest a woman that's just trying to protect her baby? No, no, ma'am. No, no, other creators. This mom, Ashlee Buzzard, is not protecting her daughter, or she would have already brought her home, gotten custody. She already had custody. She would have remained in custody and continued to keep her in school. Nobody's coming after this crazy lady except for those monsters in her head. And now, well, law enforcement is tracking her. So listen up, guys. Come on in. Let's talk about why this lady that looks so different, by the way, from there 2 years ago. She just emaciated in front of us. And then the wig. And then she walks out of court in a wig. I am not a fan of Ashlee Buzzard. And in my opinion, she's either trafficked or she's already taken the life of her daughter. However, guys, I gotta tell you, this story that was concocted may be a story that was used to hold her. This Tyler Brewer character. Before we get into any of this, guys, I gotta tell you something. This Tyler Brewer story that says that she tried to keep him captive. Well, listen, he's now put out a cease and desist letter, which makes zero sense. And what's going on behind the scenes on multiple platforms, guys? There's multiple platforms where there's discussion. One in particular on Facebook where it's find Ashlee but missing Melodee Buzzard. And this Tyler guy, I gotta tell you, I gotta show you this cease and desist. This guy has changed his story several times, and that's why I believe she was let out. Not only has Tyler changed his story several times, and the box cutter was not in the complaint, guys. I want you to understand this. That box cutter portion that he added in, where the reason Ashlee was arrested was to be held on charges of holding this guy captive. All right. And it didn't get into the complaint that she had a box cutter. That didn't come in until later. But look at what this guy did. He put out on November 11th, Tyler Brewer, signed, sealed, and delivered by him. Now, he works for government facilities. He writes documents like this and does things that to work with people that would know how to write these documents and that process documents. I didn't know that. But here's the deal. On this cease and desist letter, he says that we must not talk about him. We must not publish his name, distribute, or make any TikTok videos of any platform that include him. Now, you're currently posting content on TikTok that's false, defamation, slander, false statements, invasion of privacy. If you're talking about this guy, Tyler, remove his videos, post, reference immediately. Cease and desist. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Failure to comply includes filing a defamation, seeking a civil harassment, restraining order. Do not contact him for compliance, reference him, and don't continue to public put his name in a publication signed, sealed, and delivered by Tyler himself. And he's got his P.O. box. Now, there are a few responses to this on the platform that are really got me thinking, guys. It really got me thinking that, thank you, Kathy, so much towards our goal for the Guilty of Crime membership. Mom, good to see you. Love you. It's weird, but it's also almost like they did that to hold her. And now that the story's changed and people are trying to find out more, this guy didn't have more to tell. He's lying. And you could see he blocked this person in the chat that he was talking to. Blocked me, unblocked me, blocked me again, and hadn't said anything against him. I actually said I hope for justice for him if what he's saying is true. I did say everybody needs to be discerning, adding that, and he's got multiple accounts that he's following, opening, closing, and then sending cease and desist letters after he's the guy that got Ashlee Buzzard arrested and held in jail in the first place. So if you guys want to ask the question, why is this woman released? Well, now I'm going to tell you exactly why. All right. If it's a public, you can't do any. Exactly. That's why I wasn't worried about showing you the cease and desist. But I have to tell you that it's wild. It's wild that he did that. And yeah, who does he think he is? And is the story really true? He's changed it several times. Hello, Sandy, in my opinion. What are you asking, my friend? I don't normally respond to just everything, but if you got a question, let me know. All right, my friend, hit that like button, subscribe, get yourself in the green. Also, guys, we're giving away something special tomorrow. Very special, and it has to do with the Madeline Soto case. We're going to cover Jennifer Soto tomorrow, and I'm giving out the only other Maddie shirt that I have left. I bought shirts towards the a cease and desist. Not cease and desist. Cease and desist. All right. If anyone wants to come pronounce it for me, y'all can come on up here. I'll drop you a link and you can pronounce it for me. Anyway. All right. Now listen, Ashlee has been arrested and she was let out. I'm going to show you that she was let out and I'm going to tell you why. All right. And there's a lot of speculation that either Melodee's been trafficked or she's no longer alive. All right. Now I've got one Maddie shirt left. The other one's going to my mom. I purchased these Madeline Soto shirts to finish buying the memorial bench. Now I was never going to use all of those shirts. I planned on giving them away. I've got one shirt left and we're doing one special episode tomorrow, but you gotta be in green. I just shipped out a Guilty of Crime shirt today. And it cost me $13 to ship it plus the shirt. So you gotta support the channel. I also got my Guilty of Crime beanie that I was wearing today. But it's too hot right now. All right. So that being said, let's get into why she's out. Why does she look like this? Why does she keep wearing that damn wig? What's wrong with her? Where is Melodee? And we're going to talk about trafficking because I even broke down the trafficking situation, human trafficking by state in 2025. And some of the biggest trafficking states and some of the biggest trafficking cases have been identified near the Colorado border and Utah. Now, Colorado reported 165 human trafficking cases in 2023. And Utah reported 97 based on the state's compilation and public summaries. So I'll show you a map of that later on as well. So human trafficking, where Melodee was taken, is a huge possibility, y'all. I want you to know that. Now, I don't law enforcement was blowing smoke by asking to produce her daughter because they never did, in fact, arrest Ashlee for not producing her daughter. All right. Now, Tiff says we can also give out a guilty of crime ornament tomorrow. So the holidays are coming. We've got ornaments up, guys, and we're giving stuff out. You just got to be in the green. And if you're not in the United States, well, you'll have to pay for shipping because shipping in the United States is quite expensive. All right. So, all right. Linda says, I think Melodee was trafficked. Ashlee. No, that's the thing, guy. That's the thing, Linda, is that Melodee, they don't know. No. This arrest has absolutely nothing to do with Ashlee and Melodee. And they do have her on a ankle monitor. And now we're going to talk about why. All right. And now Foxy adds, we can give a Foxy box tomorrow too. So tomorrow's going to be a special day, guys. We're going to give out a Foxy box. We're going to give out a Christmas guilty of crime ornament. And we're going to give the last Maddie shirt that I know of that's been made in existence. All of them else sold and gone. There was a limited run. There's 111 people. Say a prayer that Melodee Buzzard gets brought home alive. Okay, because at this point, I think she's still alive. All right, now let's get into why, what, where, how, who, and all the stuff. Okay. All right, so let me do this real quick. Let me put why the judge let her out. And then we're going to see the court. We're going to hear the court and all of the things that y'all want to know. I just can't get to it. I can't answer before I even start the show. But I do love you guys, and thank you for being here. Yes, 111, my friends, 111. All right, let's put this up real quick, and I promise I'm not going to lack content today, guys, all right? I usually don't, but judge orders mothers of missing Melodee Buzzard released from custody. Well, why would they do that? All right. Posted 324 yesterday. All right. Lompoc, California. The mother of missing 9-year-old Vandenberg village girl who was arrested last week on a felony charge unrelated to her daughter's disappearance will be released from custody, a judge ruled yesterday. Now, Ashlee Buzzard, who's 40 years old, has been behind bars at Santa Barbara County Northern Branch Jail, Santa Maria, since last Friday. A criminal complaint filed by Santa Barbara County District Office charged Buzzard with false imprisonment in connection with the November 6th incident involving Tyler Brewer, who has now changed his story several times and sent out a cease and desist letter. Brewer, who's the guy that says she falsely imprisoned him, he's a local paralegal, and he told Script News San Luis Obispo that he knew Buzzard years ago, contacted her to assist the missing persons investigation, and when he wanted to leave, she wouldn't let him. All right, he's changed his story about the box cutter, which wasn't originally in the complaint. Now, she was arrested the following day. That arrest came nearly a month after Melodee was last seen on surveillance near the Colorado-Utah border while on a 3-day road trip with her mother that spanned as far as Nebraska. In court on Wednesday, it was stated that 3 search warrants have been served at Buzzard's home so far in connection with their daughter's disappearance, and she has no criminal history. So they actually let her out on her own recognizance, guys. All right. They let her out on her word saying, I'm going to return and I'm not a flight risk. Okay. Why in the world would they do that? Kel, thank you for being a member for 4 months, and you're very, very welcome. Sinner, my guy. Y'all should go check out Sinner's channel. He just became a member. Thank you, sir. Thank you. If you guys want to find out what's happening in the Cromwell world without having to get insulted and listen to people call you losers all day, well, go check out Sinner's channel. He'll tell you what's happening in a nice, calm, soothing voice, and he won't cuss at you. He's a really cool guy. All right. He might be cussing at them, but it still sounds nice. Not like the Chris Proudfoot stuff that we listened to yesterday that almost busted my eardrums from all the cuss words. All right. Lynn, shout out to you. I am Vermont. All right. Now listen, if this doesn't make sense, I will make sense of it for you. Right? We're not there yet. Buzzard's attorney argued that his client is not a flight risk and that the complaint was non-violent in nature. The prosecutor, however, disagreed, stating that a box cutter was involved in the crime and authorities had discovered she wore wigs. And guys, she switched license plates, which means she was trying to disguise herself. Buzzard pleaded not guilty to false imprisonment charges, and the judge ruled that she could be released with supervision, but she must stay away from Tyler Brewer. She was also prohibited from possessing weapons and has been held on a $100,000 bail. She's now out. She had to produce the records to show where the money's coming from. And family members are outraged, which we're going to watch today. Right. So we're going to just take a look. We're going to watch that stuff. So I'm going to get off of this and I want you guys to watch her walk out of court just so you can see how different she looks, and then I will get into the actual court proceedings. All right, I don't even know if you can hear anything in this. She looks so different. Watch.
Ashlee, can you tell us where Melodee is? Ashlee, is Melodee okay? Do you have any comment?
Where's Melodee?
Is she in Utah? Ashlee, do you have any comment?
And guys, we saw her all bald headed inside of the court. The moment she walked out and they handed her her stuff, she put her wig on and walked out. Again, y'all are going to see all this. Sinner says, I lived for years down the road in Santa Barbara. Many called it it's Lompoc, but Lompton, like Compton, all types of strangers up there hiding from the world. And I agree, Santa Barbara is either a sleepy town where people go to retire and just live good off of their money, or we got some shady characters out there that want to hide. Yeah, God, Party City wig. Party City wants their wig back, my friends. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi on the live. All right. Yes, like Nate Eden and Lori Vallow. We haven't even got to the meat of today. I'm just showing you how crazy she looks.
Can you tell us where Melodee is?
And guys, I didn't know that you get VIP service when you get out of jail. They just give you a van driver and take you home. I'm going to show you that later where they actually dropped her off at home and it was already dark. It's wild. I never knew them to give you a ride home. They really want to track her so they can find out where Melodee is. They're not just letting her out and letting her go. It is unheard of at that low level crime that she was arrested and let out for, to have an ankle monitor with no other kind of charges ever. So I want you guys to know that. Yeah, she absolutely has a screw loose, in my opinion. What's up, Dale? Good to see you, my friend. Y'all coming in, hit that like button. They're looking for her daughter. They are not just being nice and giving her a ride home to give a citizen a hand. I'll tell you that. Sorry, that was loud. I just wanted you to see her walking out and them being so kind as to give her a ride is so weird. All right, let's get into all the court stuff and everything that's happening. I just really wanted to give you guys the backstory of why she was arrested and the fact that this Tyler guy is changing his story and doesn't want to talk anymore, which means that he's probably not going to testify against his friend. I have a feeling that even though he made a complaint and did get her arrested, that they'll probably ultimately drop those charges unless they want to use those charges to their benefit, guys. All right. Foxy, thank you for the Guilty of Crime membership. Please thank Foxy if you got that membership. All right. Hey, what happened? Hold on. Hold on. I shared the wrong screen with you guys. My bad. My bad. My bad. This is the one I wanted to share first. And I was so ready for today, too. I actually am really ready for today to talk about this. There's two different ones that look exactly the same. I'm like, all right, which one is it? Come on, we don't want you.
California girl appeared in court yesterday. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, is in L.A. with more for us. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Robin. Ashlee Buzzard may be out of jail. She is not out of investigators' crosshairs. They say she has been uncooperative about what happened to her 9-year-old daughter, Melodee. And at this point, they tell me they're investigating all angles, including the chilling possibility that she was trafficked.
And that is all they've been talking about. You're going to see when we get into the experts, the ex-FBI, current prosecutors, social media people. Everybody is pointing to traffic as a high probability. Again, I looked in that particular area, and there's a lot of trafficking in Utah due to the different compounds and things that they have going on there. What's up, Roxy76? Good to see you. We're going to see quite a few court things. One's going to be just some raw footage of them. But that doesn't even look like her at all.
This morning, Ashlee Buzzard, the mother of 9-year-old Melodee, who's been missing from her home near Santa Barbara for over a month now, sent home from jail with a GPS monitor following this court appearance.
Ma'am, you're released on supervised release.
But Ashlee wasn't in court to face charges related to Melodee's disappearance. She was there to face a charge of false imprisonment after a man she knew named Tyler Brewer accused her of holding him against his will in her home. Brewer claims Ashlee brandished a box cutter and refused to let him leave after he says she shared information she appeared to regret disclosing.
We're entering a not guilty plea.
Buzzard released.
And there's some raw court footage I'll show you after about 4 minutes. You're going to hear the judge, the prosecutor, etc. Now, Lynn, the most wild thing I've ever heard is the fact that they're letting her out on a small bail on her own recognizance and with just an ankle monitor when they know that she's not right in the head. She's got mental health issues and that she's already tried to flee by using wigs and hiding her license plate. So there's a strategy somewhere. There's a strategy in there somewhere. And on the other side of the coin, there are people yelling at law enforcement saying, why are you preventing this lady from taking her daughter wherever she wants to? Well, if we did that with everybody, we would have a lot of missing children now, wouldn't we? Yeah, wig's going to be back on in a little bit.
After a judge ruled she was not a flight risk, Adrian Galvin is her attorney.
We're eager to test the reliability, veracity, and credibility of the complaining witness in this case.
Outside the courthouse, Melodee's paternal grandmother, Lily Dennis, spoke to our affiliate, KEYT.
I want to know where my granddaughter is. What's going on? They let her go? They didn't say nothing about my granddaughter?
And overnight, I asked Ashlee's attorney about that.
Can you say whether Ashlee is concerned about the welfare of her daughter, Melodee?
I can't comment on that.
Melodee last spotted in these surveillance images standing slightly behind her mother at a car rental in Lompoc.
Well, here's the thing. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways and say, I'm crazy, I'm incompetent. But at the same time, I remembered to be sneaky. You can be crazy and you can be smart, but you can't be both and claim that you just went crazy and did that when you know what you're doing, right? So the judge has a plan, in my opinion.
But California on October 7th, both Melodee and her mother wearing wigs. Authorities say the pair drove off in a Chevy Malibu 1,500 miles to Nebraska. Ashlee returned 3 days later, but without her daughter. The FBI and local law enforcement say they've been working to retrace their movements after finding the license plates on the Malibu were swapped out during the drive.
We have discovered that there was a change of the license plate on the vehicle that we've been describing that went on this road trip. And then also an additional sighting that places Melodee with Ashlee as far along that trip as the October 9th.
That was somewhere near the Colorado-Utah region, and authorities say it was the last.
And again, I want to show you that. I want to show you the region and how the human trafficking near the Utah-Colorado border is pretty high. The state level counts that they've put together and how how they report, how the task force works. And Colorado's Human Trafficking Council publishes their annual reports. Utah agencies have presented statistics and legislative briefings, and the federal reports underscore trafficking as an ongoing regional and national problem. But it's pretty concentrated, not only in that area, but in that border, at that border where Melodee was taken. So it just doesn't make sense to me. She's either no longer with us, or in my opinion, she has been trafficked and somebody has her, and she needs our help, guys. Melissa Johnson, love Jay and all of her hard work and her mods too. Hello, Melissa, love you too. Big hugs to you. I hope you're doing well and your family. Please do come tomorrow because we're giving some cool things away, and I hope you win.
Last time anyone had seen Melodee. The next day, Ashlee returned the car with the original plates, but without Melodee. Authorities served a warrant to search Ashlee's home, the rental car, and a storage locker. Law enforcement sources from multiple agencies point out the catch-22 in this case. On the one hand, they are extremely worried about what happened to Melodee, but because they can't find Melodee and because there is no actual evidence that a crime has been committed,
they are charging this or naming this as a missing person case, not a criminal case. And the reason they're tracking her and making sure they keep track of her is because they want to find Melodee. And again, you're going to hear a lot of people talking about they're doing this with a purpose. What's up, Barbie G? Good to see you. All right, let's get this out of here. Let's watch some court things, and then we're going to discuss, and we're going to listen to experts also discuss. Let's watch some of these court hearings, how they went down, what she looks like. She barely even moves.
Ms. Lockie, on behalf of the people, Mr. Galvan.
Ms. Buzzard,
I know it's low, guys.
formal reading and advisement of the complaint. We're entering a not guilty plea with no time waiver. We're requesting an assignment as quickly as possible.
Okay, we'll have your assignment in one moment. Not guilty plea is entered. Special allegations are deemed denied. The court has relation of the parties. Mr. Galvan, would you like to be heard as to your defendant's status?
I know it's hard to hear.
Judge, I've read the pretrial service report.
I know it's hard to hear. I just wanted you to see how her lawyer interacts, what the prosecutor says, how the judge acts, and her demeanor the entire time. It looks like they've got her all meted up. What do you guys think? Yeah, there are a lot of cults in Colorado and Utah, which can be a factor. Agree. She is more useful out than in if they play right. And I think so too, Rach the Rach or Rach the Wretch. I don't know, but Rach, I think so too. I really think that they believe that they're going to hide, or that she's going to lead them to where she hid her or where she's been placed. And if she's behind bars, she's not making phone calls, guys. She's not reaching out to anybody. They've already checked her electronics and her cell phone, and they've come up with nothing after the many searches of her house. Nah, if she dares tamper with that monitor, she'll be hauled to jail. You would be surprised, though. You would be surprised how they don't really check ankle monitors very often.
I have also read the discovery that's been provided in this case.
She does.
That Ashlee be released,
She's all.
either OR or supervised. She is not a flight risk.
And remember, OR is on your own recognizance. In other words, you've never been in trouble before, and you're signing that. I've never been in trouble, and I'm good for my word. I'm not going to leave. But I still don't understand why they can't get her to answer where's Melodee, and if she doesn't, why they don't arrest her for that. This is not related to that, and there's only so much they can do.
And the allegation in this case is non-serious, non-violence, and you can fashion terms and conditions of release.
Yeah, true.
With safety concerns, and
Yeah.
return Ashlee to court at any time.
Potato Todd. No, guys, but you will see the angry grandmother in a little bit. That is not the grandmother, Lynn. That is Ashlee Buzzard, and she's definitely medicated. She's definitely lost weight, and she's definitely crazy. She's definitely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and I really hope that she didn't hurt Melodee or take her life already.
Ms. Buzzard has been notably uncooperative with law enforcement and child welfare.
Following first, ma'am. Good morning.
Jensen's mean.
Ma'am, you are ordered to have no contact with Tyler S. Brewer.
See, they didn't say one word about Melodee. I'm sorry. They didn't say one word about Melodee in this entire thing, but the judge has more than likely read the case documents for the missing person case and knows what he's doing.
I'm not
We
sure
hope.
I've ever seen a 236 with a 0 with a
Interesting.
probation override, and I'm not sure where that comes from.
I'm sorry, may I be heard as the co-authors?
Sure.
I'm also requesting that she be subject to search and seizure. This case did involve the use of a box cutter.
Let's see.
They said they want to make sure they can do a search and seizure because of the box cutter. But again, it's weird because the box cutter wasn't in the complaint, and I don't know why.
Report to Lompoc? Please. Yes, report. Thank you all.
Is that Napoleon Dynamite I see there? Can we do a Napoleon Dynamite dance real quick? Come on, come on. You guys are going to see her now. They're going to drop her off at home, and she slaps that wig right back on and covers the crazy. All right, she's 47. No, she's 40, and she looks 67, and she just so rough. That is Ashlee. That is Ashlee Buzzard right there. Take a look at her, my friends. Take a look. I'll show her again. All right, I'll show her again. Don't worry. Don't you worry. All right, hold on. My internet's just going a little bit slow, and it's only because this weather is crazy. All right, I just want you to take a look at the human trafficking statistics by state, because there might be a quiz after the show, or we might have a quiz tomorrow, since this case is just all over the place. All right, so look, focusing on Colorado and Utah borderline, I looked that up, and the statistics say that Utah had 165 identified cases and 97 in Utah, and particularly that border where she headed. All right, so there's Colorado right here. All right, and then Utah and Colorado. She was here, and Colorado, where she particularly went into the Grand Junction area, is a tiny little dot down there that nobody really knows about unless they know. All right, so unless she was meeting someone there to exchange Melodee, those are the two states. So she drove from California, probably through Nevada, into Utah, and then went to the border of Colorado. She also went to Nebraska, but that is not where they last saw Melodee. Now, remember, there was additional 2 days that show a proof of life. So Melodee was alive up until the 9th. Okay, so you can see the states here, human trafficking by states 2025. And obviously, some of the biggest states are near where we take boats, right? You can see there, you go to California, hop on a boat, traffic some people, or whatever, right? Texas, same thing. You get into the border where Mexico is, and then Florida. You can go to Cuba, you can go wherever you want. You guys are crazy. What's up, guys? I see Richard Simmons. I see, hey, Matt, how you doing? Looks like Richard Simmons. How many names do we have now for this lady, huh? I know, poor Melodee, but Ashlee is a big mess. Yeah, our area is the worst. Look at this. 1,128, and that's reported incidents, and this is in 2025. We're not even in 2026 yet, and we've got that many. And then we've got Texas at 900 and Florida at 680. So as it gets over to the East Coast, East Coast to West Coast, it gets really bad on the West Coast, guys. And people want to live in California for what? No wonder Diddy liked it here, huh? Damn, that's wild. All right, let's keep going. I'm trying to decide if I want to show you guys more court or oh yeah, let's do a little more court because then the some other people talk, the grandma talks a little bit, and then we'll get into actually the grandma talking and some more stuff. All right, you guys are gonna see her again. All right, what's up, Chief Rocka? Good to see you. Hey guys, Mab might be the guy that's winning Turtle Island this year. We might have to hit him up for the Christmas gifts this year. We might say, hey Mab, where's our why don't you buy us some Christmas presents, Mr. Loaded?
House, where the mother at the center of a missing child investigation appeared before a judge on Wednesday. I was there in the courtroom during that hearing when Ashlee Buzzard denied the felony charge against her.
And I'll just pause it for a second so you can see how rough she looks before we move on. Because I'm going to show you when she gets home and she puts a big old fancy dancy wig on. Do they have dollar store wigs? It looks like a dollar store wig to me. And yeah, she does look like Richard Simmons quite a bit right there. What's up, Steffo, honey? I live 4 hours from Grand Junction where my son goes to uni. A historic town, money due to the uni, but it's a transient town and FBI arrests trafficking. Thank you for saying that. I gotta tell you, Steffo, honey, I've been knowing and visiting Grand Junction since I was a teenager. And I don't ask me how I know about Grand Junction, but that was some of my stomping grounds with the family, Grand Junction, since I was a teenager. So I do know about that town. And yeah, there's people that have money that own businesses like my family. My family started businesses there and made a ton of money. And then there's those that don't, that live in the trailer parks and are really just doing bad things. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And it's wild that anyone even knows where Grand Junction is, except for my mom, because she's the one that took me there, right? And she didn't traffic me. Thanks, Mom, for not trafficking me. Yeah, it's like throw a dart at a map and you'll find Grand Junction. Oh, now we see Ronald McDonald in the house. Woo, woo. All right, now that we're stopped for a second, hit that like button, guys. Get yourself a membership because tomorrow we're giving away some big prizes, all right? We've got a Foxy box, we've got Guilty of Crime ornaments, and one Madeline Soto t-shirt left in existence, all right? I don't understand why she'd go all the way across the country to traffic her daughter. Well, listen, Callie, she has to know somebody, and she does because the guy that she held captive told law enforcement in Utah who she was going to, where, and what the name was. So it's got to be somebody that she knows. It doesn't mean that she doesn't know somebody. Maybe she doesn't know somebody in California that does that. It's $2.99 a month, Mab. It's so worth it. Once you win one thing, that one thing you win pays for like the next 6 months. More than 6 months, all right? I just shipped out a Guilty of Crime shirt today, and it was $13 for the shipping and $25 for the shirt. So that's what, $40 that I just shipped out today. So a $40 worth of stuff. That's 10 months of memberships if you just win one thing, or if you like my Guilty of Crime exclusive chatting or videos, etc. So yeah, it's not that much. I'm not rich either, my friend, and I'm in California. All right, let's keep going. We got some discussions, guys.
The judge ordered for her to be released from custody.
That sounds terrible. I'm gonna go. I just want you guys to hear the people that are talking, and then we'll get
against her. And we are looking forward to the opportunity to test the credibility and the veracity of the charges brought.
That guy looks high too.
Wearing a gray cardigan, Buzzard kept her hands crossed throughout the hearing and with short hair looked different from her usual appearance. Lily Dennis.
With her short hair, with her Ronald McDonald haircut, she looks a lot different. She could have been Grimace, but with that nappy hair that she has, we're going to call her Ronald McDonald. She used to look like Grimace. Now she's Ronald McDonald. You got to have money to live in our area, or at least on paper. Yes, Mab, I'm house broke, right? I own a house, therefore I'm broke. I'm house broke. What's up, Saucy's kids? Oh, All right, the family's outraged, by the way, which is we're going to talk about next. I don't blame them.
Melodee's paternal grandmother was inside the courtroom during the hearing and says the experience left her shaken and frustrated.
I would have never recognized her. I can't believe it's her. She
Us
looks so
either.
different.
Along with being surprised by the drastic change in appearance, Lily tells me she was not happy with the judge's ruling.
Did you see her walk back in the house? I'm going to show you that next. Oh my God. Listen, guys, what did she do to those eyebrows now? I could just sit there and look at her picture all day. Mom, you're not old and I love you. Oh my God. Why does she look different every time? Who even is that? All right. She seems she went through several trafficking hubs. Good point, Mo Preciado. Don't worry, guys. She's not going to wig out.
She was not happy with the judge's ruling.
What about my case? Where's my granddaughter?
Oh my God.
Well, we don't know nothing yet. That's what they tell me.
Prosecutors pushed back against Buzzard's release, pointing to her recent behavior amid the search for her daughter.
Ms. Buzzard has been notably uncooperative with law enforcement and child welfare services, pertaining to the disappearance of her daughter, Melodee.
Still, the judge ordered
She doesn't even look like that anymore. She's so cute. And thank you, Linda.
Buzzard not to have any
Oh, by the way, there's Ronald McDonald before she lost all of her weight. Or Rita Perlman. You guys keep the names coming and I'll keep on saying them out, all right? That's the beauty of Guilty of Crime in our episodes. You guys talk and I listen, all right? Or we can call her Ron Perlman. What does she look like? Rita or Ron Perlman? Them poor sheep, they gotta use all them sheep to just for them wigs. That does not look like her.
Contact with the alleged victim in the false imprisonment case and said she cannot possess any weapons.
You will be getting released on GPS.
Following the hearing, I reached out to the man named in the criminal complaint. He declined to comment. I met with Lori Miranda, Ashlee's mother, Wednesday afternoon.
That's your daughter?
Yeah, I can tell. That looks like my daughter.
But seeing Ashlee in court...
Now that is Ashlee's mom. All right. That's Ashlee's mom, not the other lady that you saw. And the father's family only wanted to get custody if she was mentally unstable and needed help. All right. They weren't just going to, oh my God, Hellboy, leave Hellboy alone, Jay. So many different looks. They were only going to get her if she needed help. It wasn't like they were like, take her kid away. We hate her. No, they just wanted to visit her, love her, give her things and see her. They didn't cause this. She caused this by not sending her daughter to school. Harpo Marx. Y'all are crazy. And Synth, I thought you were off today.
Left her feeling uneasy.
Oh my God.
She just looks so forsaken. So sad. She had so much going for her. I can't believe it.
Well, let's pray that she's alive, that Melodee's alive still, guys. I do not want to report to you that they bring her home not alive or they find a body somewhere. I do not want to report that to you.
And she had this message for Ashlee.
I just wanted to tell where the baby is because I know she didn't hurt my granddaughter.
I reached out to Santa Barbara County Sheriff's spokesperson Raquel Zick to see if there are any further updates in the ongoing investigation involving Melodee Buzzard. At this time, Zick says there are no new developments. Buzzard's next court appearance is set for November 19th.
Mark your calendars, my friend. 6 days until her next appearance. Let's hope we find Melodee before that. Melodee's in danger right now. I want you to know that. All jokes aside, I know we get lighthearted to take off of the hurt because this is not good. Could be really bad news when we say she was trafficked or she's no longer with us. Guys, being trafficked means that you're probably being beaten and graped and starved and dehydrated, and they're only giving you just enough to get by. I have a thought. I know serial killer, me too. I've been thinking that since day one as well, and I don't want it to be true. Krusty the Clown, same hair. All right, she's going back to the court in 6 days.
In Santa Maria, Crystal Bermudez, KSBY.
All right, let's watch her walk in, and then we're going to have some more discussions. All right, let's watch her walk in the house. I have to share this with you guys. If you guys have an X account, please sign up for Guilty of Crime. I've had an X account for a long time, and I post a lot of stuff on there. So you guys should sign up for my X account. It's free, and it's another way to communicate with Jay from Guilty of Crime. All right, I hope she's alive too. All right, let's watch her. This VIP van dropped her off right at home. Ashlee Buzzard just returned to her home in Lompoc. No comment. Ankle monitor on her leg. More details coming soon. Here you go. Let's watch this real quick. It's just 30 seconds. Quick.
Ashlee, do you have any comment? Any comment, Ashlee? Where's Melodee?
You guys see that? The wig appeared again. Hold on. There she is. That wig. It's covering up the crazy. She's Ronald McDonald. Well, that's the thing is people haven't seen her since the 9th. She was confirmed on the 9th being last seen, and the family hadn't seen her for years. Now, traffic gets her money and hands off torture. That will show her. Yeah, that's terrible. I don't even want to think that, but that's been my thought since day one. So let's take a look at some more things with the grandma being outraged in the family now that she's back at home, and some discussions. I got lots of discussions and I can't even decide which ones to start with, but I'm going to start with the really pissed off family members. All right. Yeah, I think that too, serial killer. That either shows that she was heavily into DR rugs recently or had a complete mental break, or both. All right. Or both. It's not one or the other. And I know she got some tight jeans on. She just wants to show off the junk in the trunk. All right. We need to find, in all seriousness, we need to bring Melodee Buzzard home, guys. She's in danger.
In our thoughts for over a month now. And as it turns out, we've got something to tell you about her mother. Sadly, we do not know where Melodee Buzzard is tonight, nor who, if anybody, may have tucked her in at bedtime. We don't even know whether the little 9-year-old girl ate dinner tonight, and frankly, we don't know if she's even still alive.
Exactly.
And it's been
the 9th of October, my friends, the 9th of October. They originally thought it was the 7th of October, and now it's the 9th. So it's been over a month that nobody's seen her, and there's no proof of life. Let's pray that she gets brought home.
A month and 3 days since she was last seen. Her mother, Ashlee Buzzard, hasn't given so much as a clue as to where her little girl might be,
Nothing.
at least not to the police. She hasn't even begged the news cameras to help find little Melodee safe and sound. But we do know where Ashlee is.
Nope.
She just returned home an hour ago to her little home in Lompoc, California, just up the coast from Santa Barbara. She had been away since Friday, as you may well know, in jail on false imprisonment.
And again, guys, there's no reason that she would be released on her own recognizance and then with an ankle monitor. And then they all but walked her up to her door and opened her front door for her. I'm telling you right now, they know what they're doing. They didn't find any evidence in that house because she was packing boxes and moving, and they didn't find any evidence on her electronics. They didn't find any of that. So their only hope is to let her out and let them lead her to Melodee. All right. In my opinion, you'll hear about it in a bit, even more.
Charges, a charge that was incredibly mysterious at first because it didn't have to do with Melodee. And now it just seems incredibly weird. Earlier today, she was in court to face that charge, minus the signature wig. And this is what she looks like. Her own hair is...
All right, we saw that.
And she can't make any contact with her alleged victim, who in this case is a man named Tyler Brewer.
She looks terrible. Let's keep going. We saw this. I just wanted to talk about, I wanted to see the grandma thoughts.
She had not. Mr. Brewer says that Ashlee told him her daughter Melodee was dropped off in Utah and says Ashlee...
All right, we know all that. Let's get to the grandma. I want to get to the grandma.
In, didn't say a word. Of course, we're yelling, you know, where's Melodee? Do you have any comment? She had said absolutely nothing. We saw that ankle monitor on her left leg. So she walked inside, she locked the door. We've seen no activity inside. There is a light on in the living room area, but we've seen no activities inside. So she's definitely in hiding, and the neighbors are all on watch.
And remember, there's still people out there with the signs, putting them up. They're all watching her house too. All right, I want to find that grandma's interview. Not all this. She looks terrible. My God. She looks like she has false teeth too, and she's trying to keep them inside of her mouth. Now we got Don King. She looks like a prosty with that wig. That's what I'm going to call it. Everyone hit that thumbs up for Jay. All right, where's the grandma?
So in Lompoc, she'll be in the Superior Court here instead of up in Santa Maria.
Well, we're looking at KTLA's video, and now you can really get, for the first time ever, a clear look at her face. We've not been able to see her face before this close up because it's always been grainy surveillance video or, shots taken at a distance from neighbors who've watched her unusual behavior.
They even gave her food. Did you see her carrying a sandwiches and stuff? How is that? I'm telling you. I love you guys. The cheap synthetic wigs. Since I didn't think of that. Them delivering. Yeah, I think maybe she has wooden teeth and a wig. Yeah, they're killing me.
Moving boxes.
All right, let's keep
brought
going.
that up. But first off, in court, I think everyone in that courtroom, Ashlee, we're all so taken aback by how she looked.
Yeah, we can't get past that.
Also noting that Ashlee Buzzard has, very questionable recent behavior. There's the road trip linked to the disappearance.
Where's grandma?
That she is back.
They're just showing her over and over. We're going to have...
wants to find.
Let's do more discussions. I wanted to show you a part of this, but I think they put the grandma in that episode. I really want to have these discussions with you instead of rewatching some of the things we had. So let's do this. This one's great. This one's got Ashlee Buzzard. Hold on, let's put this one on. I believe this has got everybody.
Ashlee, can you tell us where
this has got everybody in it, and what they're talking about is the trafficking.
Melodee is?
All right.
Ashlee, is Melodee okay? Do you have any comment?
Oh my goodness. Y'all.
Is she in Utah? Ashlee, do you have any comment?
Look, they even gave her some of her little snacks and her stuff, and they let her have her wig back. How does one get a ride home after being in jail?
Can you tell us where Melodee is?
Oh, they gave her a bottle of water and a drinky and a snacky. Look.
Today, we delve into the mystery of 9-year-old.
All right, they have some awesome people on here, and these conversations are great. I had Jennifer Coffendorfer. She likes to be called Cough on my show before, and she pops up on everything. She's on here. Jesse Weber. They're all having discussions about trafficking. Everybody thinks that if she's alive, that she's being trafficked. All right. Albino. Oh my goodness.
Old Melodee Buzzard, who's been missing for more than a month. Her mother, Ashlee Buzzard, is now under arrest. But in a surprising twist, Ashlee's arrest is not for her daughter's disappearance. Rather, it's in connection with a different case involving a man who says
now we know all that.
Mother was even
Let's get to
the next day and now faces a felony charge of false imprisonment. Again, this arrest has nothing to do with little Melodee's disappearance.
Nothing.
Or does it? What could have Ashlee revealed to Tyler when they were together that day? Brewer claims she told him where the 9-year-old was and with whom. While he says he suspects the little girl is somewhere in Utah and believes she's alive, he's providing no further details. He's also...
And I wonder if he's giving further details, you guys, but law enforcement isn't giving further details. All right, Abby, you mean you want to snatch that weave? Y'all want to snatch her weave? Maybe we can reach out to her and ask her if she can tell us where to get our wigs. That food will probably go in the trash. I agree. Something's off her rocker. Maybe she's off her meds. Maybe I think it's a combination of things, you guys.
Also concerned that because of Ashlee's mental history and recent behavior,
he
is not sure what she told him is even true. So what is the real crime here as it pertains to Melodee? Is Melodee alive somewhere in Utah, or has something happened to her? And without Melodee, How do we know if she was a victim of a crime? And what about that false imprisonment charge? What does that have to do with anything? In California, false imprisonment is a wobbler, which means it can and often is reduced to a misdemeanor. So really, it's a nothing burger. To help break it all down, I'm joined today by News Nation Law and Justice.
This is awesome that they brought
We're talking about Melodee.
all these people. And this is what I wanted to bring. Now, listen, Callie, that was the third option that I wanted to talk about. But I was like, how is a mother protecting her daughter? So option number one was that Ashlee took Melodee's life after driving past that border. She did something, was never seen again. Number two, she handed her off for a trafficking situation where she's compensated financially and whatever else, whatever means, maybe DRUGs, or there could have been a private adoption where she got money, or the last option is she's just trying to, in her mind, keep her daughter safe and keep her in her custody. I want you guys to remember that Ashlee Buzzard has done this before. She has traveled and she's moved and she's taken her daughter from place to place to keep her daughter away from the father's family that does want partial custody and does want to visit her. So she has done this before. So number one option, she's trying to protect her daughter in her head from the family and doesn't want to give her up. Number two, she's no longer with us. She took her life. And number three, we can throw in trafficking with a private adoption, right? When someone does a private adoption of a 9-year-old girl, they're not going to just use that 9-year-old girl, in my opinion, for what people usually want their kids for. And I'm just saying, people don't buy used children to not use them. And I hate to say it that way, but I want you guys to understand that. Do you remember the Zulocks? We covered the Zulock case where two gay men were adopting all of these boys out of the kindness of their heart. Well, come to find out, they were adopting those boys and using them for sex. Okay. And they were doing it again and again. They were about to adopt more children before they were found out. Now, the $100,000 bail, we don't know, but they did verify that the $100,000 bail did get paid for by money that can be verified. I did read that. So how she got that, I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Private, because people buy used kids to not use them. I don't think so. That just doesn't happen. Suzanne doesn't think she's alive. She burned all of her memory of that baby girl when she got home. I know. So sad. I just hope she's alive, you guys. I really do. All right. Foxy sent me an email. We got to stop the press. All right. I'm going to keep going and then I'll check my emails.
That's our concern. But she's arrested for false imprisonment involving a guy named Tyler Brewer. Hey. What is the relationship here? What's going on?
I have a bunch of thoughts. Other than the crime, perhaps a truancy type of crime, because we remember that Melodee was being supposed to be homeschooled by Ashlee, but apparently Ashlee didn't file the appropriate paperwork to be homeschooled. And by the way, that's how this whole case broke out. It was a Lompoc school administrator who realized they hadn't seen Melodee in quite some time since she registered. Then my first thought is, and I am hoping and praying that Melodee is okay and that she is alive. My first thought was, if it is true that she handed off her daughter to somebody else, are you talking about a child abandonment or a child neglect charge? Possible. Mm-hmm. You're talking about something worse.
And this is the discussion today of where she is. Now, Anne doesn't think she trafficked her. And if she was abused herself, she doesn't care how crazy someone is. She doesn't think she's with us anymore. And I respect that. Initially, before I knew that the mother had these mental health issues, before I knew that the mother was also in some kind of kidnapping situation previously, and before I had the full backstory, I thought she was no longer with us. Now that I have more detailed information, I think she's still with us, but she's in danger. What's up, my friend? Under your scars? You know what's under my scars? Or you know what's under my tattoos? Scars. Just kidding. Yeah, the homeschool's a huge red flag. Kathy, go to bed, my friend. We love you. We'll be here tomorrow. All right? I'm glad you did your blood pressure too, because all possibilities are on the table right now.
And I hope that's not what we're referring to. And obviously there are serious questions about credibility. Then you get into a whole reign of what happened to this young girl.
Yes.
If you're talking about a multi-state trip, do federal charges apply?
I
And I
agree.
don't want to go down that road, but what we are dealing with is, like you said, a false imprisonment charge that could carry potentially 3 years in prison, that I think is aggravated by the allegations that she used a box cutter to essentially trap this guy. And aside from that charge and whether or not it'll be reduced to a misdemeanor, if that's true, that goes to her mental state, a mental state of a woman that clearly has information about what happened to her daughter. She traveled with her. They were on surveillance together.
Now, listen, I think a lot of us are really jaded by what Lori Vallow did. And when we hear, where are the kids? Where's Melodee? Our first mind with hearing all these cases, because that's what happens 9 out of 10 times. If a mom is not looking for her child and a mom won't tell you where her child is and you can't find the child, well, the child's no longer with us. All right. So typically that's what happens. All right. Abby says, Jay, you rock that hair much better than him. I got the Jesse hair right now. Look at that. And I could do that and it just goes up. Yeah, no, she never came back with her, which is really scary. I know. That's the whole thing.
She allegedly changed her license plate, comes back in that Chevy without her daughter. So this is the kind of person that we're dealing with, who is apparently not cooperating with authorities. And while it's not in and of itself a crime to not provide information to law enforcement, you can't obstruct. But I think the larger question of, this is incredibly concerning where this 9-year-old girl is, and she was in the care and custody of this woman.
Does she have a father that's around? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, I think
he
died in 2016.
He died when she was 6 months old, and the family really wants to be in touch with her, wants to love her, wants to hug her, wants to spoil her, and wants to have visitations with her. That's it. That's all. They weren't trying to take her away unless necessary, unless this lady, Ashlee, had a mental breakdown or went to a hospital, but none of that happened. So I don't know what's going on in Ashlee Buzzard's mind that's saying, you know, alert, alert, I need to get this girl out of here. We don't know. We haven't heard anything like that.
And I think when you listen to family members, right, they say that's when maybe the downward spiral happened. That's when she basically allegedly cut off contact with the rest of the family, who desperately want answers here and are desperately trying to just make sure that Melodee is safe and sound. But in 2016, I think he died in a motorcycle accident of some kind. And that might have started what we see as a potential downward spiral.
So let me turn to Jennifer for a second. I understand there's
What's up, Cough? I don't care what anyone says about you, Cough. I love you. She has her channel too. If you guys ever, she covers the Sebastian case and a lot of other cases, but she came on my channel and she covered the Madeline Soto case with me. And she gave me real possibilities about what Jen Soto could be arrested for. All right. And she made me a list. It was awesome. It was awesome having her on. She's very nice and professional and just right to the point. I loved it. I loved having her on the show, and I see her everywhere. So hats off to you, Cough. All right. Millie, my friend, what's up? I'm glad you're here.
Trip, which would take about 40 plus hours, and that's without stopping, and that's with the pedal to the metal. So almost an impossible trip. That is, in my opinion, at least could be argued as a child endangerment situation. You have that switching of the license plates. And this case so much mirrors, Sarah, another case of Catherine Hoggle. Very similar type case with mental issues of the mother. And when you look at that case, that's what they originally charged with her, child endangerment case. So those are some of the factors that show that she was indeed behind at least this disappearance.
Well, mental illness for sure. There's something not right, but that's not really a defense to, I mean, it's not, if she knows right from wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree about private adoptions, but however, when somebody does this in the way that she's doing it, you don't need to disguise yourself when you have full custody of your daughter and you're the one that's allowed to sign off on a private adoption. The father died and the family members have 0,000 rights to little Melodee Buzzard. So if she was doing a private adoption, there's got to be something nefarious, because people don't put wigs and change license plates and then rent cars and disguise themselves and do all this in order to do a private adoption. You just do a private adoption. All right. So that's where the red flags come in. All right. And guys, we're almost at our goal. We have 190 people in here. If you can help Guilty of Crime get to the goal today, like I said, we're giving out a lot of things tomorrow. And not only do I have the Guilty of Crime shirt today, but I got the Guilty of Crime beanie, and you could get any one of them on the website as well. So you should check that out. You know, I like to fold my beanies, right? I like the blood splatter Guilty of Crime logo, but there's all kinds for everybody. All right. Thank you so much, Lady for Justice.
Then that doesn't rise to the level of, claiming insanity or something like that as an affirmative defense. But Tyler Brewer says that he thinks that Melodee's alive and that she's somewhere in Utah. Yep. Do you think this information, Jennifer, will help law enforcement in their search, or is it sort of unreliable?
Well, I will say this. Investigation 101, they should have already been looking at any connections there, any phone records that would have taken them to somebody there, any relatives, any friends, any associates. We heard other family members say that they do have relatives in Utah, but those individuals would have been talked to very early on, I believe, in this investigation by law enforcement. So I don't know how much we can put into the reliability of that information.
Because he's not really providing more. I mean, it's like a teaser, right? He's saying, I know she's there and I know who she's with, but he's not giving them anything more. Jesse, this arrest, I mean, I've heard you cover tons of, crime headlines here on News Nation and then also on Law and Crime where there's been an unrelated arrest. So I just want to get your insight.
That's what I like. That's why I like talking about this with multiple people on the panel, because these people are also talking about other cases that are related, not necessarily related, but similar cases that's happened. And when that happens, right, people don't just reinvent the wheel and do a crime most of the time that we've never heard of, because there's so many crimes happening every minute of every day. So that's what we're talking about today. If she's alive, why is she hiding her? And that's what I was saying, Suzanne. If she's alive and she's hiding her, she's either hiding her because in her head she thinks that she needs to keep her away from the family, or she's not alive, or she's alive and she's trafficked her of some sort. Private adoption, whatever you want to call that. I call it trafficking.
On this arrest for false imprisonment, is this just really some way for them to lock her up and press her for more information that she clearly has, or maybe even gives them an opportunity to further investigate? I've had this happen to my own clients where they want them for X. I've had a passport fraud. My client went in for passport fraud. He was a white supremacist. It was a federal case. But really, they wanted him for a murder that he had gone on unscathed on in Vegas. So then it was a civil rights.
And that's what I thought they were doing with her, but I don't know how this Tyler guy factors in, and I don't know the relationship that he has with law enforcement and with his job. I don't know, but I think when they held her from last Friday until yesterday, they did put her through different mental health. She talked to different people. If she needed her medication, they got it, but they did talk about trying to talk to her, and she is tight lipped. She will not say a word. She's like, I don't know if you guys watched any of the body cam with me, but the lady that had a YouTube channel, the 8 passengers, when she was arrested, they were asking where the kids were, and they were in the house tied up, and she wouldn't say a word. They talked to her and she just kept her mouth closed. I want my lawyer. That's it. Never said anything again. And that's because she did something to him. And in my opinion, if she didn't do something nefarious, why would she be changing license plates, and why wouldn't she be talking? All right. It makes no sense. All right, guys, it is free to hit the like button, and we have 192 people in here. So if you can just hit that like button for us, that'd be great. Yes, Ruby Frankie, thank you. And yes, we got you, Melissa. Just keep coming back. We're going to be giving stuff away. And we have a special episode tomorrow as well.
So it was like there's something bigger going on than the Nothing Burger. Does that seem like what's going on here, or is this just really legit about false imprisonment?
It's a great question. I think they had to make an arrest because this was a dire situation, right? You're talking about a guy who was essentially being trapped with a box cutter if the allegations are true. But you're 100% right. There are times when someone, a suspect, can be charged with a lower level crime. Sometimes they're brought in, they're questioned, it can lead to further search warrants, and you can get more information. There does seem to be a separation here, though. And even, by the way, when the judge who was overseeing this false imprisonment case wouldn't side with the prosecutors, they're like, hey, she's a flight risk, you know, she wigs, the license plates, they go, that's a separate case, okay? She hasn't been charged with respect to this. And by the way, I don't know necessarily if this is going to lead to more evidence about what happened to Melodee, because remember, at this point in time, they searched her house twice. They searched a storage locker. They also searched that car that she apparently made this trip with
And they found
Melodee.
nothing.
I'm reluctant to say that this arrest for false imprisonment is now going to, the floodgates are going to come open and we're going to get more information. But I agree with you. Sometimes something like this, and it is a serious charge if it's a felony, it can lead, but that's if you're dealing with a reasonable actor. Are you dealing?
Guys, something's got to give very soon, right? There's something's got to give. And I love you too, Dale. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the $3 super chat or super sticker. I appreciate you so much. Right? I mean, this is something's got to give, guys. Right? You said they bugged her house twice. They put in better audio camera, right? But either way, they haven't found any evidence. And in my opinion, I think she thought she was going to go home, finish packing up, no questions asked, and leave. And now she's stuck in this holding pattern where she can't now leave the state because she's got this ankle monitor on. She's left at home with very little food in the house and things that she has left in there. And something's got to give. Something's got to give. People are watching the house. Law enforcement's watching. The neighbors are watching her. You don't think they're going to get anywhere anytime soon? I do. There's something's got to give.
Dealing with a reasonable actor with Ashlee Buzzard right now? That's the problem.
No, I don't think so. So Jennifer, Ashlee, obviously we were talking about this, that she's not cooperating with investigators. From a law enforcement perspective, is this always a red flag to you? Is it always, suspicious, or could we give her the benefit of the doubt and say she's not all there? There's a lot of distress. She lost her husband. Now she's lost her child. It's grief.
You know, Sarah, when it comes to missing children, this is a red flag.
And we don't care about your grief. We care about people's grief, guys, but we care about the children more. All right. Obviously, her grief has taken a toll on her. We can see it. She was trying to feed her child rotten food in the past. You guys remember that? I mean, something's got to give, though, soon. I wonder if she was going to move to where she left Melodee, and that's what we want to know. I actually like that nothing burger saying. The lawyer says that a lot. He says, okay, today I'm reporting on this, and it's a nothing burger. I personally like it. I should make an emoji about a nothing burger. All right, what do you got to say, Koff?
Parents typically want to find their children. They want to do everything possible to find their children. This is the kicker, though, here, right? She knows exactly where Melodee is. So that's
a good question. I don't know where Jennifer Coffendoffer is. I really don't. I've had her on my show before, but I never asked her where she's from. She's ex-FBI, and I see her on almost every show all the time. She does a segment. That's good. That's a good question. You say Ashlee Smart, she's running from what? Yes, exactly.
Doesn't need any help finding her children, and she's not going to want to cooperate with finding her child, Melodee. Why? Because she's responsible for why she's missing. So it's a red flag that she won't cooperate. And I don't understand why they don't put her in dependency court. A judge could issue a summons for her and force her in court to say, where is Melodee? And if he's not sufficiently
satisfied,
satisfied is the word I'm looking for. Thank you. He can put her in contempt of court and put her in jail. I don't understand why that hasn't happened yet.
I mean, Jesse, when prosecutors say to me, well, your client wasn't
spit it out
talking. So what? There's no legal obligation or constitutional obligation to cooperate, right? That's what the Fifth Amendment is for.
Well, here's what I want to know, and I love these discussions because I'm like, wait, okay, what happened to that 72 hours that she had to produce Melodee? Why can't they enforce that? Why can't they enforce that? Does anybody know? And maybe they'll talk about it on here. This episode just came out when I was researching this, and I was like, oh man, these are some great conversations to have with the crime crew. I just don't know. Why can't they use that 72-hour hold that's already passed? Do you think it's because they really do believe that Melodee's alive in Utah or Colorado with somebody? And if she's just sitting in jail, not talking to anybody and emaciating away, because that's probably what's going to happen if they put her in a cell. Do you think that they just lost her? Personally, I could care less about Ashlee's issues. A child will be exactly. And unfortunately, it's part of it. It's part of it. But I hear you. No excuses. Yeah, very clear she has mental health issues. Still not an excuse for a missing child ever.
The right to remain silent.
And even if we're not using it as an excuse, it just gives us a little insight into her mind that as a crazy person, we're not going to think the way she does, and whatever it is that she possibly did with Melodee. Is Melodee eating? Is Melodee getting enough water to drink? Does Melodee have food? Melodee, what are they giving her? Where is she? And is she safe? Or will she be in danger soon? Or is she already in danger? A lot of questions today.
So, does it, how does that play out here? She's obviously not saying a word about what she knows. And I agree with Jennifer. She knows where her kid is. How does that play out here? She doesn't have to talk.
Unless she was obstructing the investigation or providing false statements to law enforcement, you're 100% right. There's a difference between her morally wrong to not provide information about where her daughter is, give a sense,
Right.
some sort of idea, which
That's
is
what I'm-
concerning.
that's what I'm thinking.
Keep that a secret. At least say she's safe and sound. She's safe and sound. But not to do that versus her actually being charged. You're right.
She's not saying anything.
She's not saying
She's
anything.
not saying
She doesn't
anything.
have to,
Yeah.
Which again, it raises questions about where's Melodee.
Yeah. And that's what's so concerning about this case. It's Jennifer, I want to come to you for the last one. This is obviously valuable time. Every day that passes could be a day too late.
I think now we're going to ask about trafficking. Again, ex-FBI knows the most about trafficking. When the FBI comes in, it's because it's a multi-state jurisdiction, and there's other reasons too, but many times when the FBI comes in, that's why they need a higher level to come in and oversee that. And at this point, we are at that point from California to Nebraska, seen at the state line of Colorado and Utah, where there's a lot of trafficking. Not as much as California. She could have done that right here, but who does she know in Utah?
To find Melodee, what are the chances that she could be located at this point, given the effort of law enforcement?
I know.
Well, of course, with this new information, they're going to be tracking down what she had to say. Again, I think it's very clear she wasn't in her right mind when she gave Tyler this information. Is it valid? Is it not valid? What I found interesting was in the last week of October, she tried to rent another car. Now, this was very interesting to me at the time. She wasn't able to rent that car, but what was her purpose? And I always said this wasn't to flee. She wasn't going to flee that house. This was to go where Melodee was. The question is, was Melodee deceased or is Melodee alive?
That's a good question that I didn't even think about, guys. She tried to get a second car. Was she going to get a second car to move Melodee's body? Or to move Melodee to where she needed to go? She never made it. She never got that. All right. And yeah, we talk about Lori Vallow, Utah, Mormons, cults. What?
And she was going to retrieve her. But I think for me, that's the single largest clue we have so far that I think she was going to return to where Melodee is. It gives us hope.
See?
So she rented a car after the first car. Like after the disappearance.
She tried to.
Oh, tried to. Okay.
Right. They saw her on surveillance. They did not rent the car for her. She has a lot of serious problems financially, Sarah. At about $23,000. She has a lot of debtors coming after her, which of course raises my flag. Who paid that $10,000 to post that bond? But nevertheless, that's a little sidebar, if you will, Jesse. But back to your question.
Wait, the bond was 10,000 or the 10% was 10,000? I'm asking because,
10%. It was $100,000 bond that was at least initially set. And unless that was lowered, that would have been the price, typically $10,000 for a bondsman.
That's what I was going to say too. How did she come up with 10,000? They didn't say that, but they did verify that the 10,000 came from a credible source, which again, you have to go to a bail bondsman unless you have $100,000 cash to give them. You have to go through them to hold the rest, to hold the rest either on your house or something that you have of value, right?
Okay, because if it's one count of false imprisonment, it's a $50,000 bond in Lompoc, which is where she was arrested, which is Santa Barbara. So $50,000 bond, 10% of it is 5,000. So maybe she's charged with two counts, one for like the locks and the other one for the box cutter. I don't know, but $100,000 is more than I calculated, because I was thinking, well, if it's 50,000, most people can come up with 5,000, to get the bond, right? But 10,000 obviously is double that amount. Anyway.
Yeah, those of us that did watch that, Rach, I'm glad you explained that. Yeah, Lori she was kicked out of the LDS church. We know that. Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow and that tiny little cult and the tiny little storm that Chad had was an offshoot of LDS, and they were kicked out. But still, there are a lot of cults that we call cults, and a lot of Mormons in that area that have multiple wives, and there's incest going on, and there's child abuse. That's what we're referring to. I don't think anyone's trying to put down Mormons. We're just discussing that particular area and the situation. So yeah, we never want to insult anybody, right? Except for Lori Vallow. She got it. She posted bond. She's out, Mo. She's out. And they said that they verified where the money came from. You say I'm still completely boggled that there's no data to have her from her devices. Typical Maria. Nothing that they're giving to us. And what's up, Cheryl? Good to see you.
I want to turn to Sophia, because on this show, what sets us apart is that we take a look back to historical high-profile cases where there's been a similar issue. And here we're dealing with parents whose children go missing, and they have some role in the disappearance or even potentially murder. God forbid that's not what we're talking about here. So, Sophia, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know exactly what happened to Melodee. This is all still, going on, but I thought it would be interesting to take a look at some cases where parents initially deny involvement, or they kind of don't say anything, and then later evidence connects them to the disappearance. So I want to start off with Casey Anthony, because I think everybody here knows that case pretty well. So in 2008.
All right, let's talk about crazy Casey Anthony real quick while I triple check that they actually let her out on her own recognizance without any money. It wasn't super clear to me. If that's what you're saying, I just want to make sure I can verify that.
Orlando mom, Casey Anthony, says her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, was kidnapped. Initially, she said she was kidnapped by a babysitter, and kind of maintained this narrative to say, I have no idea where she is. She's gone. We have to find her. Now, the investigation later found that there was no babysitter, and that she was actually partying the days leading up to Kaylee's disappearance. Now, weeks later, Kaylee's skeletal remains are found not too far from Casey Anthony's home, and she gets charged with first-degree murder. Prosecutors say she killed Kaylee because she wanted to be free of her parental responsibility. She wanted to be free as a bird. Defense attorneys say that the little girl died of an accidental drowning. She eventually was acquitted of the murder, convicted of lying to investigators. We just talked about this case a couple weeks ago, Sarah. This was an interesting case. The medical examiner said that it was homicide by undetermined means. So it wasn't quite clear what happened. And that, I'm thinking, could potentially go into play in this case as well.
Well, Jennifer, I kind of know what Jennifer is going to say. Do you think Kaylee Anthony is innocent?
No.
She was found not guilty.
You mean
right? We respect the jury's verdict, but is she innocent?
She said Kaylee. Did she say it's Kaylee Anthony incident, or did she say Casey?
Yeah, she's factually guilty, and she's legally not guilty.
Jen Soto.
Respect, the job that her attorney did. He did an amazing job. Turned attention away from her. But no, I absolutely believe she's responsible for Kaylee's death.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
So you just mentioned the similarities. Again, I hope this is not the case.
Yeah.
But if we are dealing with a situation where, let's say, we never find Melodee, Let's say we never find.
Before we get into that, they did say that they let her out on her own recognizance. So if that's the case, I'm going to take somebody's word for it that it's either her own recognizance or a cash bond. Then they let her out on her own recognizance. They let her sign and say she'll show back up. That means she didn't need the money. All right. All right, let's keep going. Let's get past that. She's out now. And yeah, damn straight, she's guilty, just like Jen Soto. Jen Soto is always going to be guilty in our eyes, even if they never arrest her, which I don't think that's the case. All right, if they never find Melodee, then what?
You and I, everybody on this call knows that it is possible prosecutors could still charge somebody with murder, right? It's possible.
Right.
I'm hoping.
Without the body.
The reason that worked for Casey Anthony, even though there was a body there, is because when you have...
Oh, no, we did talk about that at the beginning, unforgivable sins. We even saw her with an ankle bracelet coming out. So I know she has an ankle bracelet. But again, we've covered lots of cases where monsters don't care. When they have an ankle bracelet, they cut that ankle bracelet off and commit a crime anyway. So yes, she does have an ankle bracelet, and they did say that they let her out on her own recognizance, mean on her own word. So then there you go. Then she didn't need that money. All right.
Undetermined means. When you have a question about what happened to somebody, if you don't have the body, that is grounds for the defense. That is grounds for alternative explanations. And particularly if you're talking about a multi-state trip, if you're talking about all these different variables, you know, where this is preliminary, this is very early to say, but this is something you have to be thinking about because there is so much unknown. And you're talking about a girl who was transported across state lines. Now you're talking about a lot of different variables that defense attorneys can work with.
Yeah, it's absolute fodder for the defense. So what else do we have, Sophia?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take you all back to 1994. We have Susan Smith. So a South Carolina mom who went on TV with pleading, said that she was hijacked.
Oh my God. Did you guys see Diane Downs the other day trying to get out and be released? Do you guys remember Diane Downs, the mom that she was playing crazy like a wolf? Or crazy like a wolf. She went and she had her kids in the back seat. She pulled over, said she was going to pick up a hitchhiker, and she shot all of her children. One of them ended up paralyzed. One of them ended up dead. You remember the Diane Downs story that happened from a long time ago? That lady is out of her ever loving mind. Oh my God, she looks even more evil than she did the day that she was arrested. She looks like an evil, nasty monster. And she is. She tried to take the life of her children for a man. She wanted to be in a relationship with a man that didn't want kids. And so she took the life of her kids and tried to say it was a hitchhiker. Evil lady. All right. Thank you, Emma McClure. Thank you, Jay Mods and Crime Crew. You saw that? She's a nutter and looks evil, guys. Oh my goodness. All right, let's keep going.
Jack, she specifically had a very specific story. She was hijacked by an armed black man who took the car, and her two boys who were aged 3 and 14 months were in the back seat. I believe it was like for 10 days, she was pleading for their safe return. There was a search. People were looking everywhere. Now, as investigators continued to dig into this, they found a lot of inconsistencies with the whole hijacking story. Susan Smith eventually confessed to rolling her car down a hill and then going into a lake, drowning her 2 boys. Prosecutor said it's because she was involved with a man who didn't want to have children. She was convicted of 2 counts of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Interesting case. She was up for parole last year, was denied.
Got denied. Yeah.
Got denied and continues to serve out her sentence.
And continues to have sexual relationships with the guards and be on one of those websites where she dates people. Nasty, evil women. Why do they always blame the black guys and the Hispanic women? It was a Hispanic lady. It was 2 Hispanic ladies. Oh no, it was the black guy. It was definitely a black guy. And the black guy was wearing all black. I saw him. His features, he looked black. You know that one? Yeah, it was a black guy. Why do they always do that?
Because, well, first let's start with her in prison conduct. She has definitely not been a model inmate. I remember things like, I think, wasn't she she was having like relationships with the guards, and
Yes,
there was a lot of
ma'am.
stuff
You
that's
know
been
your
going on
true
while she's
crime.
on the inside. But even before, I think this is the one similarity that I see, you guys, is that she was also not really mentally all there. You know, there was a lot of
Nobody's
stuff in her
mentally there.
background. I can't recall exactly, but she came from a lot of abuse and
You can't be all mentally there if you try to or succeed at taking your children's lives. No way, no how.
things like that. So, but again, it wasn't, wasn't enough to get her off
They
on the
all look
charge. Jesse,
alike.
what do you say about this in terms of a parent who's found guilty?
No, we don't.
Well, I think any parent that does something to their children, they're not mentally there. Now, it doesn't mean
Thank
from
you,
a legal
Jesse.
point of
Thank
view
you.
that they can claim insanity. It does become a question, how on earth can somebody do this? And at this
Mhm.
point, we still don't know what happened to Melodee Buzzard. If you're talking about
Yep.
similarities, how could you not just even explain
Really?
where she is, provide information? There's allegations she's tearing down.
She took out the posters. Yeah,
Tearing
that's
out the posters.
crazy.
And again, if the allegations are true that she
And I'm telling you guys, her taking those posters down mean one of two things. One is she knows exactly where she is. She knows she's in Utah with said person, or she knows that her body is out there and she's no longer alive. There's no reason to even take down one of those posters. What would that hurt? Really, what would it hurt if you had your daughter safe and sound somewhere where you're going to move to? What difference would it make, and why would you rip the posters down? Just a thought. Just a thought, guys.
provided information to Tyler Brewer and kind of backtracked and was nervous about the information she provided and threatened him in a way. This is behavior that is incredibly, incredibly distressing and concerning.
Red
when there is
flags.
now a nationwide manhunt to find a 9-year-old girl who's incredibly vulnerable. If we can.
And I hope you guys do enjoy these discussions. Sometimes we just don't know everything that we need to about the case. And well, I like spending time with the crime crew and trying to figure this out. So when new information comes out, we can say, oh, yeah, okay, we suspected that, or we were thinking that. So if you guys do like that, hit that thumbs up for me. We still have 174 people here. So I'm assuming that you do. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Just want to make sure we keep those conversations going and keep Melodee's name out there, because we need to find her. She's in trouble, however you look at it.
Just emphasize that again, 9 years old.
Yeah.
Younger the victim, the more vulnerable, the less opportunities they have to take care of themselves. It's a problem. It's a real big problem.
I mean, to me, it's bad enough that she's not providing information. Obviously,
Yes,
that bothers me. But to take down the posters, like, who does that?
The wigs, the license plates.
Yeah.
There's a theme
I
here,
like that.
not being detected. I don't know. I can't explain this kind of behavior. I
Yeah.
can't explain Susan Smith, but we try to understand it and make
I
sense of it.
think
But it's
so,
really hard.
Sarah. I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have Chris Watts too, right, Sophia?
We do. And just to note, the defense in the Susan Smith case was mental illness. Her defense attorneys did say
Yeah.
that she was suicidal and all of that.
Oh my God, Lindsay Clancy, guys. That's why I love watching these where they just bring up other cases. What about Lindsay Clancy? That's the one that recently, one by one, she sent her husband to go get a specific food that they wanted at a specific restaurant, and she timed it out. She plotted it point by point, not the normal location where they would go get their food. And as her husband left and took that route, one by one, she suffocated her children, and then she jumped out of the window and tried to take her own life. And guess what? She's paralyzed now, sitting in a bed, paralyzed, and her kids are all gone. Lindsay Clancy, does anyone know that case? Anyway, let's keep going. Hello from Southern Cali. Hello from Northern Cali. I know, and it gets worse and worse. All right, definitely bad wig wear.
You know, obviously the jury
Yeah.
didn't agree. Okay, so we've got a dad this time. 2018,
Oh my
Chris
goodness.
Watts, dad out of
What
Colorado.
was
Another emotional plea on television saying, "My pregnant
Good night, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow. You better be here for Friday.
wife and 2 girls are missing. I don't know where they are. We need to find them. Search begins." Days later, investigators, they ask Chris Watts to take a polygraph test. He fails that test. In the course of that investigation, he ends up also, the first time he confesses that he just killed his wife and says that she's the one who killed the 2 girls and that he killed her after those murders. As the investigation ensues, you find out that Chris Watts was having an affair with a coworker, and that he had been planning the murders for several weeks because he felt that his family was going to be an obstacle to his new life. He then finally admitted to killing all three.
Tony Todd.
And then dumping their bodies near an oil work site where he used to work. He
East Bay.
ended up pleading guilty to avoid the death penalty and is serving multiple life sentences with no chance of parole.
Did he ultimately confess to killing the children too, or he
Yes,
just stuck to the?
He did, but they had to go back into the prison with the two detectives and go and talk to him again. Some people still believe the story that his wife did that. Some people still make jokes about the wife that he Shanann. They still call her the predator, which is the most wild thing. All right. Yes, Tiffany Lucas. We watched the body cam and saw that she shot her two boys. Her older daughter has aged out of the system. Maybe she placed the younger one with her. That's a good assumption. And she was preparing the three of them. That there's a possibility, but why not tell? Yes, there you go. She needs to tell. All right, let's go a little past Chris Watts. I don't want to lose you guys.
Be responsible. She was supposed to be taking care of her daughter. What happened one way or another? She's the one who knows.
So I'm just curious to ask you all, is that at what point do you think investigators have something and they're holding out and they're not doing obstruction, endangerment?
Maybe.
Neglect. I mean, there's other things that I think can potentially come into play here that they haven't done yet. So is it?
I mean, Jennifer, Jennifer, like it's very possible that law enforcement knows more than we publicly do, that more than has been disclosed, because until they find her safe and sound, it wouldn't be prudent to make those things known, right?
100%. They've made known what they need to try to seek the public's help. For instance, that New York license plate. A lot of people coming out now. At least we have one witness at that Phillips 66 station in Grand Junction, Utah, that believes that they saw for sure.
I think she means Grand Junction, Colorado, but that's okay. You're giving us a lot of good information, Cough. Keep it coming. And good night to everybody that's leaving. We're almost done. We've been in here an hour and 37 minutes, and I always hate to leave you. I love to leave and go eat my dinner and hang out with the family, but I always miss you guys. So don't forget, come back tomorrow on time. And yeah, the New York license plate, we don't know where she got it from. Maybe she stole it, but she sure knew to change the license plates, guys.
Ashlee, and then another individual in a purple wig, or with purple hair, I should say. And that could have been Melodee. The problem was that witness identified her sitting in a car and said she was approximately 20 to 30 years old.
Yeah.
So did that witness exactly, was she able to verify the age correctly? But we might have another sighting there, which I think could be very realistic because of those wigs. Those wigs, it's funny that she's trying to do these things. In other words, she went off of the main highway onto this other small highway.
And it's making her be in plain sight with those wigs because people are spotting those wigs now, which is great. And thanks, Coffer, for some of these things I didn't even realize and put the two and two together on the red flag portion and where they saw them. There's so many different things going on. This story just gets crazier every day. Like, what is up with this Tyler guy sending a cease and desist when he's the one that turned her in and then reached out to or commented on News Nation? I don't get it.
She's using wigs. She's using a New York plate. How can you be a louder beacon in the middle of nowhere, which is where you're talking about here, desert area? Look over here. I mean, all the locals and people in that area are going, okay, New York, purple hair. This is making no sense here. And
I mean, yeah, purple hair in Lompoc is kind of a rare sighting. It's Lompoc is where there's a big federal, although I think now it's shut down, but there was a big federal prison there. It's just a very it's like a very middle America town. And
all that area, Santa Barbara, there's a lot of retired folks there, guys. People go there and have money and they settle in. You don't see this stuff typically, unless you're in a bad part, right?
In the Santa Barbara area, it's definitely not like Hollywood Boulevard where you would see purple hair. So you're right. I mean, it's almost like she's calling more attention to herself. Jennifer, I think you said that there was another case that you also wanted to look back at, other than the one you mentioned earlier.
Well, actually, that one I want to just give a few more clues about. That's
Okay, all right, we're almost done, guys. And all of the experts that I've been watching today, I watched Brian Enton, and he had a prosecutor on there. Absolutely thinks, and she brought it up that she thinks that Melodee Buzzard was trafficked by her mother. This is the 5th person that I've seen today that's an expert. And there's other videos. You can mention a creator. Just don't say, hey, guys, there's a creator on live right now, and make everyone leave my channel. But if you want to talk about a case and tell me a certain creator, I'd be happy to hear it. Yeah, there was no Amber Alert either because there was nothing to Amber Alert about. It didn't meet the criteria. All right? It didn't meet the criteria.
Maryland case, 2014. This mother was the last to see her children, and their 2 children, and both of them never seen again. And I mentioned earlier that, yes, she was pulled in, but then there were all sorts of competency hearings and issues. Anyway, they ended up charging her 3 years later because the children still, by the way, have never been found with murder. But they had to drop those charges because of her competency. Now, fast forward to 2025, just this year, she's been indicted again, because guess what? All this time she's been being held against her will, if you will, hospitalized because of her mental issues. But in a group therapy session, she talks about how she strangled them. And
oh my God.
So now investigators were able to go with more. So these are the sorts of things. This is why I was so happy personally to see Ashlee behind bars, because I thought possibly she could get help. I think this is way beyond a Susan Smith type character. This is, according to her mom, schizophrenia, bipolar.
All the things we talked about, guys. Someone messaged me in my email and was talking about her mental health, and I added schizophrenia to that because I believe she probably has been diagnosed, or maybe not diagnosed with schizophrenia, but she probably is schizophrenic, guys. All right. And all those combination of things are not good. Trauma, the PTSD from when she was 9, the same thing that happened. And who knows what else has happened to her. And then you add bipolar, schizophrenic, maybe she was off of her meds. Who knows? Man, this case, I just don't want it to leave the spotlight and us not know where Melodee is in a year from now, 2 years from now. Where's Melodee? Where's Melodee? We don't want it to be another Sebastian Rogers case, Summer Wells, right?
Serious mental issues. And according to a fellow named Bill Garcia, he's a new private detective that has just been, well, not hired. He's going pro bono for the paternal family. He talked to her just a couple of days before her arrest. And he said she was absolutely wackadoodle. In other words, couldn't hold a conversation.
By the way, on this show, we can say batshit crazy, so feel free. We can say these things.
Oh, okay. I don't have to stick with the 3rd grade version of wackadoodle. No, but all sorts of issues.
You want to say wackadoodle? You could say batshit crazy. Okay, she's batshit crazy, y'all. Batshit crazy, and then with that Timu wig, it just makes it 10 times. When Jesse Weber wants to say something down here, he's like, let me hold my tongue.
With her, from his perspective as a seasoned former law enforcement officer and private investigator, couldn't hold a conversation, absolutely paranoid, delusional, he described her, and said that she basically was, quote, incoherent. This tells us so much, because her reality, if she has that beautiful mind, Lord knows what reality is in terms of what she could have done with her baby.
So you think there's a chance that she might fess up to something at some point?
I think there's a chance in the right situation.
Now, listen, if you're a true crime person, and I love that you said that, sometimes justice takes time. Most of the time, justice takes time. We just got lucky with certain said cases, like the way Madeline Soto's case was pushed so quickly, and we've got 21 life sentences ahead of Stephen Stearns, and Jen still hasn't been arrested. It takes time. Look at Brian Koberger. It took 5 years almost, right? For nothing, just for him to plead guilty. And then now look what's happening. People are on YouTube showing all the stuff saying he didn't do it. It's the most wild thing that I've ever heard. It usually takes a long time. All right. It's unusual when it doesn't take a long time. It's crazy. And welcome back, Tiff. We're almost done here. I'm glad you came again.
Situation and an environment But I think our chances are fading fast that Melodee will be found alive.
If we don't hurry, guys.
Was there another case, Jennifer?
No, that was the main case. There's another case. It's Kyron Horman, and he was another situation though where the stepmother was last to see him, and he disappeared. But sadly, in that case, still no charges, even though it seems so probable that the stepmother who picked him up and then he disappeared. No.
Right, guys, who does that? Who picks up their stepchild or is with their stepchild at the school and they just never see him again? All right, that's a sad one too. There's a lot of clickbait on that case saying she was arrested. You go watch it. Nothing's happened.
Have ever been brought in that case. And I did want to bring that up only because I think it shows that these cases are so difficult to prosecute.
And just one thing to add there, when you're talking about potentially charging a family member, a caregiver, a parent,
we're almost done, guys.
With respect to their children, we asked before why maybe no charges. If you look at the home, you look at the car, you're going to find Melodee's DNA.
I know.
So it's not like a smoking gun. It's not
correct.
Like Ashley's a stranger and she has this. So that's a problem. And that might not be enough to say what actually happened here.
Yeah. No, that's always it's same thing with like sex charges too, you know, where it's where the people live together. I mean, there's DNA all over the place. It's not at all what drives the case. Anyway, this was a fact.
Right. It was. I really liked finding that episode because I love having discussions with y'all. All right, guys. Yeah, there's a lot of cases that need attention. I mean, look at the Michael Monkey Vaughn case, 4.5 years not solved. And all of a sudden, full force, we got a bunch of shady ass characters, which, by the way, I need to cover. I've got a huge list of items to bring to that. And I've got that case ready to go. So anyhow, tomorrow we're going to do a special episode on Jen Soto. Let's talk about, of course, Madeline Soto. We're going to give away the very last Madeline Soto shirt that exists to me because they're not allowed to be sold. So we're giving them away. And we're also going to give a Foxy box, a Guilty of Crime ornament, and the last Madeline Soto shirt. So we're going to do that tomorrow on Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, you gotta be a member in order to win any of the 3 prizes. It's okay if you're working, Melissa. Just go ahead and put your earphones on and hit that like button. You'll still be entered into it. You're a member. You're all good. Okay, guys. So try not to miss tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. Other than that, I can't believe tomorrow's Friday. Happy almost Friday. I love you guys. We've been here for almost 2 hours. I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Love y'all. And thank you so much. Appreciate you. Say a prayer that Melodee Buzzard is found and brought home alive soon, guys. All right. All right, guys. Now, since we'll talk behind the scenes about that. We don't need to do that right here. All right. Much love, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Sinner, for being here. Callie, the classic one. Yeah, like talk behind the scenes, please. Ornaments, cool, but yeah, we'll talk. Oh, wait, she wants me to show the Temu wig. So while y'all are saying prayers, let me just show you that. She sent me that Temu wig. Now look at the mom, look at Ashlee released from jail there. And then there's if you want a similar wig to that, here you go. You can go right on Temu and get yourself a 1-piece synthetic wig for only $20.67, 44 inches, guys. There you go. There's your Temu wig. If y'all want to buy a wig and you want to buy one that looks like Ashlee Buzzard, go to Temu and go shop away. If not, love you guys. And yes, get back to work. Go do your stuff, y'all. Go hit up Temu. I'm sure they have cheaper ones with shorter hair, or you could buy 5 of them for $100. Good night and God bless you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Mwah.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?